pigs and chickens and things of that kind. It says there's wild turkeys here, and there's deer here, and there's even wild cattle out here that we can kill, so we won't need to kill any of our own stock. And it says, if you just keep the family in meat, why, that'll sure help to provide the food for the family. I like that, and so Father got me a horse to ride and a saddle, and then I decided, of course, I had to have a rifle. So then Father got me a rifle. I remember this first rifle that I had was a .44 Browning. Some of you old timers that remember those days, you'll remember that that was about the high powered gun that you could get, and it had a cartridge about 1.5 inches long, but it's black powder, but it was good for about 100 yards. You could kill a deer 100 yards away with it, but over 100 yards, so it wasn't so reliable. And so I found out if I used to go hunting out in the hills there, why there was deer. I could nearly always go out in a day and kill a deer. And so from that time on, I think I can truthfully say, for 10 years that we lived up there in the mountains, that there was not a time that we didn't have meat. And it was always wild game. It was either deer or turkey, and once in a while we had bear meat, because I did kill some bear while I was up there. In fact, I killed 4 grizzly bears while I was up there. They were a southern grizzly. They weren't as large a grizzly as those that were up in the north. But we had these grizzlies, and we had the black bear and the little brown bear. And so I found out, and I, of course, had been told that as long as you get a young bear, why, the meat is good. As they get older, they get strong. So several times we had bear meat, and it was quite a bit like pork. It was really palatable. But anyhow, what I was going to tell you was a little kind of a joke. We had a fellow lived in our town that was he was an old bachelor, and his name was John Davis. And he had a kind of funny way of talking, and he lived by himself, and he really owned more cattle in this town than any of the rest of us. And so he used to ride the range quite a little bit, and naturally he would kill a deer once in a while for meat. And I used to listen to him talking. He had such a peculiar way of talking that I kind of learned how to talk just about like he did. He'd say, "By hell, fellas," he says, "I'm going to go out hunting tomorrow." He says, "By Diamond," he says, "I know how to hill out there on called Mars Peak." He says, "Where there's a big old buck that comes around it out there, and by hell, I'm going to get him one of these days." He said, "Only you fellas want to go with me out there?" Or I says, "You can come and go along." He says, "I'm sure that old buck is out there." He says, "Yeah, I've seen him siren shoot." Well, he said, one day, he said, "Old Heath, my brother," says, "By golly, John," he said, "by hell," he said, "let's go out there and see if we can get that old buck." I said, "Okay, John." Heath. So we went out there, and he says, when we got up there on top of that peak, why, I says to Heath, I said, "Heath, I think we better get off our horses here, and you go around the peak one way," and he said, "I'll go around the other." And he said, "We'll sure jump that old buck around here someplace." He says, "The brush is pretty thick." He says, "I was going along there," he says, "my gun in my hand, and expecting to hear that old buck, come tearing around. I thought maybe he would scare him up and he'd come right around the hill, and then I'd get him as he'd come around." Pretty quick, he says, I saw the brush wiggling, and I thought, by golly, there he comes. By hell, he says, when that thing come out of the brush, he says, it wasn't a buck, it was a bear. He said, that old bear looked at me, and he says, by golly, it seemed to me like that old bear said, I'm just going to eat you. So he says, I thought I'd start back to my horse. And he said, that old bear come right after me. And he said, when I was going so darn fast, when I got to my horse, I couldn't stop to get on the horse. I went right on, and he said, old bear right after me, and down that hill we was going. He said, I was jumping, he said, I think about 20 feet to a jump. And he says, all of a sudden, he says, by golly, I fell down, and the bear passed me.